Today we're going to be adding decimals using models. And by models, I mean these little guys right here. This is a copy of MyMath 5, which is found at the back of your Volume 1 MyMath book. You don't need that, but there's an extra one there, and I find it pretty helpful. First, a little bit about why we're adding decimals with models. This is not something that your parents were taught to do. And we do it for a couple of reasons. The first reason is, at the time that I made this video, we still do not know whether or not there's going to be any testing this year. I sincerely hope and doubt that there will be, but if there will be, this will be on it. Even if we don't have testing this year, this is still a good way to conceptualize what we're doing when we're adding decimals together. So yes, we will be adding decimals the old-fashioned way with the algorithm, and I'll do that in another chapter. But we start off using these models so that you get a good idea of what we're doing. You will have extensive notes on this. This first page, it says adding and subtracting decimals. The first page is all about addition, and you will get a separate page when we do subtraction. That's a different chapter. So the first thing you need to do is in your book, you will notice that your assignment today, which is on page 331, they do part of the work for you, which is great, but then when you have to do it all yourself, you're like, how do I do this? So what I mean by that is they give you the number of models that you're going to need, and that's not how it's going to happen. So the first thing I do to figure out how many of the models I'm going to need is I do an estimate. And you learned a couple of chapters ago how to round decimals. Here's an example. This is the question I'm going to be working on today. So the first thing I do is I round to the nearest whole number. So this I would round to 2, and this one I would round to 1, and that gives me a total of 3. So I know that I'm going to need 3 of the whole squares, which represent wholes, to do my question, to get my sum. So the second thing I'm going to need is I'm going to need 2 colored pencils or crayons in contrasting colors. Now this is really important because it shows that you know that what you're doing when you're adding. So the first thing I do is I take my first number, 1 51/100ths, and using one of the colors, I color that in. And I've done that already to kind of save me a little time. So with my red, I've colored in 1 whole, 5/10ths, and 1/100th. And I'm going to bring that up really close so you can see what I've colored. 1 whole, 5/10ths, 1/100th. Okay, you got that? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my second number, which is 1 23/100ths, and I'm going to color with my contrasting color. I'm going to color in 1 whole, and I'm going to do this as quick as I can. But you also have to be neat. Like, we're not in kindergarten anymore. I realize some of you don't like to color, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be beautiful, but it does have to be neat. And neat because some of these squares get pretty little, and if it's not that neat, then it's going to look a mess. So far I've colored in 1 whole, then I'm going to color in 2/10ths, and you can color in any tenths, it does not matter. 2/10ths and 3/100ths, and the hundredths are the finicky ones because they're the little squares, the teeny tiny ones. So there we have it. So now to get my sum, I just add up both of the colors. So how many whole? I have 2 wholes. So I always write my question on my paper, 1 51/100ths plus 1 23/100ths. So I have 2 wholes, then count up your tenths. I have 5/10ths here, 6, 7/10ths there. So 2 wholes and 7/10ths, and then I count all my little hundredths, and you will see there that I have 4 of them. And so my sum, my answer is 2 74/100ths, right there. Not hard at all.